Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, Team Lines of Poetry collection, and Finding God Anime Devotional for Otakus, which is free on a variety of platforms. I'll leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Happy Friday, my friends! I'm so excited for this video. We are doing a video review, and I'm really excited because I have not seen anybody talking about this manga. In fact, my friend Mariah Jane was the one that put this on my radar, and I was like, dude, I want to get it, I want to read it, and so it finally came in earlier this week. It released on Tuesday, and I am just so excited to be talking about this manga. And in case if you're curious what that manga is, it is The Dragon Knight's Beloved. Look how beautiful this cover is. It's so pretty. I absolutely love it. I feel like it's sort of rare that when we have a dragon on the cover, that's an actual dragon. That's not like, that dragon is just purely a dragon. It's not a demon lord or any other kind of, I was supposed to say mythological creature, but like a shapeshifter, that's what I was trying to say. That is hardcore dragon, and oh my goodness, this series or this manga is very sweet. It is just a wholesome story. Like, if you love dragons, I'm just gonna say right now, you should probably read this. Let's go ahead though and dive in what this manga is about. So this manga is about this girl here. Her name is Melissa, and I'm gonna show you the colored page. Is it showing? Yeah. Look how beautiful she is. I mean, she's really pretty here too, but that opening page though, ooh, the art is absolutely gorgeous. But it's about Melissa, and she is a maid in training. She's been at this castle for her whole life. Her parents also work there, and she decides, because it's her coming of age, that she eventually wants to leave the castle and go eventually become like the head maid, because she feels like she is being, not necessarily being babied, but she just, everybody is very, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, everybody watches over her and they coddle her, so to speak, and she's just sort of wanting to be out on her own and earn this position by herself. But she loves dragons, like absolutely adores dragons so much, and in this land where she lives, dragons are extremely common, and we have the dragon knights, and they are knights that fly dragons, like right here, who is the White Queen, and we have Lord Hubert, who is our hero, and he is basically the mightiest, the strongest, as well as the White Queen of the dragons and of the dragon knights. And also they say the most handsome, but I'll talk about him in a moment, because there's something I want to say about that in just a second. But the thing is things are going to get a little bit complicated because things come, Lord Hubert says some things, well, Commander Hubert, Lord Hubert, they're the same person. He says some things, he finds out Melissa, you know, is a maid in training and that she wants to go somewhere else, and he's going to make an offer to her. Will you be my lover and come with me to my estate where basically wild dragons are roaming, because you have the trained dragons here, but you also have wild dragons as well. Now, the first thing that I want to say about this manga is the art is gorgeous. It is so beautiful, absolutely stunning. Like, I feel this is one of those manga that, yes, you may enjoy the story, you may like the story, but the art literally carries you through this manga. I mean, I definitely enjoyed this story, but the art was so captivating. Like, there were times I'm like, let's just forget about what the words are saying and just focus on the panels and the art itself, because it's just so pretty and just very beautifully drawn. And that is what I wanted to mention about Lord Hubert, Commander Hubert here, is because it says he's handsome, but I think he's just pretty. I mean, I wouldn't usually call a man pretty, but look at him. Look how pretty he is. I mean, this one doesn't show his, yeah, it does a little bit. It shows his eyelashes, but in some of the other like panels and pages, his eyelashes are super long. And he's just very pretty. That's all I can say, is he's just very pretty. And again, everybody is drawn very prettily, but I just felt like Lord Hubert had a little bit more extra to his character that I thought was very interesting, to be honest, especially with his eyelashes, because I was like, his eyelashes are just super long, and again, just pretty. So yeah, the art, so good. So let's talk about the story itself though, now that I've gushed about the art. I liked the story. In fact, I feel like this is like a political fantasy where it centers around dragons. This is, from my understanding, supposed to be a romance. Okay, it doesn't say in here, but I'm pretty sure that this is advertised as a romance, but the romance is super duper light in this volume. We don't have really any romance shenanigans at all, to be honest. And so I was caught off guard by that because I was honestly looking forward to that. I was also looking forward to the dragons, and that was probably, I think, maybe one of my favorite parts is the word building was incredible. So I feel like sometimes in manga that you can get like what's called as a word dump or an info dump, and where, you know, you have story, things are going good, and then bam, suddenly you're just dropped with paragraphs of just know it so that you can learn something as a reader about this world. And while I do think there might have been some info dumps in the beginning, I thought it was very well done in how it weaves into the story, and just that the overall world was just so fascinating. Usually in manga, I feel like, you know, you may have like a really epic fantasy world, but it's just the world. It's just the world the characters live in. Usually I feel like manga is very character driven, so the story revolves around the character itself. But in this one, I felt like it was more plot driven, and that the characters lived in this world and we see things happening to them and around them. Maybe it was somewhat character driven, but there's just so much, not so much, I make that sound like there's too much of it, but there's just a lot of really interesting facts about this world, especially the dragons and how fundamental and central the dragons are in this culture. And especially with our guy here, and then having Melissa love dragons as it is, even though she's not a dragon knight, because there are certain things that have to happen between a man and a dragon knight slash man and a dragon for them to basically be a dragon knight together, kind of thing. That's sort of vague, but I didn't want to give too much away on that because I found it just really, really interesting. And the politics, I feel like, are probably not like your average politics because, like I said, it centers around these dragons and things are happening. And of course, you have outside influences trying to come in and try to do things to the dragons. And then the dragons themselves, I mean, they talk about how they're very intelligent creatures. And it's interesting talking about that, how it affects the romance and how it affects not just Lord Hubert, but how it affects any Dragon Knight who is wanting a spouse or wanting a girlfriend or anything. That was very, very interesting, and I feel like where it ends, that we're going to see more of this romantic element and how it's going to have a role in this story outside of Lord Hubert asking Melissa, will you pretend to be my lover? Now, while I might say that this is a political fantasy of sorts, this is not a high stakes story. Like, I was really shocked how easygoing and how light of a story this really is. It's just very, I don't know, despite that it has like this word building and there's things going on with the dragons and stuff, and even Lord Hubert in his personal life, as well as Melissa, things don't feel super high stakes to me. It's very, again, just easygoing, and I feel like it was an easy read, and it didn't require a lot of, I was going to say require a lot of thought, but that sounds weird to say it like that. I don't know, I just felt I was really tired when I read this, and I was a little bit nervous. It required a lot of brain energy to focus on the story and what's going on, and while I feel like I had to focus on the parts about the dragons and how you know that they're powerful and what defines them, and just like the dragon culture within the dragons itself, I feel like outside of that, that the story was just a really smooth read, and I read it fairly fast and had a really good time reading it. Like Lord Hubert near the end, he is hilarious. I mean, this is not a funny manga by any means, but when I feel like it's his real self that's not necessarily talking to Melissa, he is a hoot. He's so blunt and straight to the point, and I was just like, I am 100% here for Lord Hubert acting like this more often. But he's very kind to Melissa. He's very sweet. I do feel this is probably a little bit of an age gap manga. I didn't have an issue with it or anything. I believe Melissa is 16, and I'm not sure how old Lord Hubert is, but it is implied, and you do see a panel here or there and memories as how to Lord Hubert helped not raise Melissa, definitely not that, but how he was involved in her life when she was a little bit younger. So they've basically grown up together. They're very good friends, and there's not been any kind of romantic I don't know if there's been a romantic interest, because I can't say for Lord Hubert because he's a little bit of a mystery, but for Melissa there's definitely never been any romantic inklings. And this is sort of off topic, but talking about that because it sparked it. In another story I read, I don't know what manga it was. Oh, it was in I Swear I Won't Bother You Again. I mentioned in that video review that it was very fascinating at the end that we got a bonus story. And this is another one. We got this bonus story, and it does give a little bit, not a romantic inkling at all, but it was interesting because it does center around, a little bit around a romance, or having a romance, I guess you would say, to keep that vague. And I just thought that was very fascinating because this is the second, Seven Seas manga that had an extra bonus short story at the end. And I do like it. I feel like it gives a little bit more insight into who Melissa is, and just because she's not dingy or anything. She's very much a hard worker, but she has a very bright personality. And I mean, there's one time that she, does show something besides happiness, but I don't know. I really like seeing more into her world and her confusion and such in that short story than I did in the manga. I still really liked Melissa. I think she's a very great heroine, and she's very fun, and she just loves dragons, and it's so cute to see her fascination with dragons and how that affects the story itself. In some ways, I feel like she is just a huge fan for dragons, and that's all that she sees. And even when there are quote-unquote criteria for this lover thing that's going on with Lord Hubert, dragons still are always at the center of it. So it's just, I don't know, it's really interesting to see this young woman be obsessed with dragons and how it even affects her, hopefully, potential romance, because you just don't see that every day. It was very cool, and it was definitely very cute. I think that's everything that I wanted to say about this manga. Again, I really, really loved the art. The character design was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I think there was somebody, there's somebody that came on to do character design, and it's so good. It was just the outfits and the art, the detail to everything. Like, here's another one of the panel with the dragon right here. And I just love it because I feel it's rare to see dragons with that kind of detail woven into a story like that. Usually, the emphasis I feel is on the people and their clothes and such. But I mean, the setting and the surroundings, like, this was a really pretty scene that I really loved. And it's just the attention to the detail. I mean, seriously, the attention to the detail, and just how dragons are even in the small details, to be honest, when it comes to the setting, not just dragons literally roaming the land, just all of it. All of it. Everything has something kind of dragon related, hands down. So like I said at the beginning, I would definitely recommend this manga to people who love dragons, love sweet heroines, and enjoy having a little bit of like a political fantasy where the word building is more than just a backdrop for these amazing characters. Like, it definitely plays a role in the characters' lives, and I really enjoy it. I'm very curious to see where things go next. I did like it a lot, and it was a great time, and it was very different than what I usually read, but I'm here for it, and I'm looking forward to the next manga, or the next volume in this series, I mean. But how about you guys? Do you guys like dragons, or do you prefer unicorns, which might be me over here? I would love to hear from you guys, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.